Legally, cannabis remains classified as a high-risk narcotic with no accepted medical use, yet it's marketed as a premium lifestyle product for daily well-being. This social divide is the byproduct of the plant's multifaceted chemistry. To understand its actual impact, we have to look past the political labels and examine how these specific molecules interact with the brain. Our bodies maintain an internal regulatory network called the endocannabinoid system. It coordinates everything from pain processing to how we store emotional memories. The cannabis plant produces phytocannabinoids that mimic our own signaling molecules, allowing them to bind directly to the ECS's CB1 receptors. This system is responsible for maintaining a delicate internal equilibrium. By introducing high-potency external compounds, we change the signaling environment across the entire body. Tetrahydrocannabinol, or THC, is the plant's primary psychoactive agent. It acts as a chemical accelerator, binding with high affinity to CB1 receptors in the brain. Neuroimaging shows acute THC spike cerebral blood flow, forcing brain regions into hyperconnectivity, producing euphoria but risking acute panic. Conversely, cannabidiol, or CBD, acts as a molecular modulator, dampening THC's intensity. In translational rat models, researchers found that CBD significantly reduced functional connectivity across the brain, exerting a calming effect on neural synchrony. The ratio of these two compounds in any given strain determines whether the experience is overwhelming or muted. The biological picture changes when the brain is subjected to these chemical shifts daily over years. Constantly overstimulated by THC, the brain compensates by retracting receptors into the cell membrane, a survival mechanism called downregulation. Connectome Project data links this loss to diminished prefrontal cortex activation during memory tasks, lowering neural response for attention and decision-making. This systemic downregulation is also associated with vascular issues, including a significantly higher risk of heart attack and stroke. Sustained heavy use physically reconfigures the body's internal signaling, making it difficult for the brain to perform standard cognitive functions without the drug. Medical researchers are now using these same chemical interactions to treat illness. Pharmaceuticals with a precisely balanced ratio of THC to CBD, like Sativex, are used to manage the muscle spasticity associated with multiple sclerosis. Purified CBD extracts like Epidiolex have also been approved for treating severe seizure disorders, utilizing the compound's ability to dampen overactive neural pathways. The safety of these compounds appears to depend heavily on the age of the user. In the developing adolescent brain, heavy use is tied to measurable thinning of the cerebral cortex. Data from the UK Biobank involving middle-aged and older adults shows a reversal. Lifetime cannabis use in this group is associated with larger volumes in the hippocampus and improved processing speeds. While cannabis disrupts the structural maturation of a young brain, it appears to offer neuroprotective benefits during the natural decline of aging. Clinical observations contradict the persistent belief that cannabis is impossible to become addicted to. When receptor downregulation becomes severe, the brain reaches a state where it requires THC just to maintain its new, altered baseline. This leads to cannabis use disorder, where abstinence triggers physical withdrawal. In some chronic users, the system becomes so overloaded it develops cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome, a condition where the drug that usually prevents nausea instead triggers cycles of severe, uncontrollable vomiting. This cycle is a physiological adaptation. The body is desperately trying to reach equilibrium while managing a constant influx of potent external chemicals. Current legal debates often demand a binary answer about the plant's safety, but the biological data remains stubbornly complex. It acts as a cognitive disruptor or a protective agent, a driver of anxiety or a damper of seizures. The impact of cannabis depends entirely on the variables of the individual user. Its total effect is determined by the specific chemical ratio of the plant, the developmental stage of the brain, and the frequency of the dose.